Poopy Cat, and I'm an illustrator whose dream is to publish a picture book. Over the last few months, I've been working on my portfolio and decided to start a challenge called Let's Get Published Together. With that being said, I decided to journal this process for anyone who also aspires to one day publish a book, as I thought it would be fun to work on this together and share tips that way. During the month of July, I wanted to work on posing and consistency. So the project I introduced was for a single-page sequence narrative, something that didn't exist in my portfolio actually. This project involved creating a character and illustrating 3 different consistent poses to advance the story's narration. This type of illustration happens a lot in picture books, and even though I have drawn many illustrations and poses for the same characters, I actually have never done a full finished sequence. The theme that was chosen was Magical Museum, and I was so over the moon because I had so many ideas of what I could do. So for the sequence, I had in mind that the character could pick something up and that the object would then turn into something magical, which would then fill the entire museum. What? I had no idea yet, but I knew that's kind of the direction I wanted to take. So in my head, that would have been a fun side-by-side full-page illustration after the sequence. This was around the beginning of July, and I was so excited to go outside and find cool items that I would find off the ground and then start referencing them into magical artifacts found in my magical museum. But alas, that's when the downfall began. Okay, well, that's maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, but nonetheless, July was a little rough. And that's because I had a million different other client projects piling up in the background, making it really, really hard to feel inspired and finish what I wanted to finish. And at that point, it was already middle of the month, and I was still working on finishing my sequence illustration. So even though there was a lot of things going on and I still wasn't really thinking about my next illustration, I still pushed through and worked on to my sequence illustration, which was the main goal of the month of June. So I had done all my character sketches, I made sure that she looked consistent, and I also came up with the idea for Magical Museum that my character would find a magical bottle somewhere, not knowing that it was magical, pick it up, inspect it, and then in the last illustration, shake the bottle, and to her surprise, something happens and comes out of the bottle. So evening came, and I sat there thinking about how much stuff I still had to do, not counting my client work. There was something that I had forgotten to do, and it was a piece for my Happy Mail that I send out every month with Patreon, and it had to get shipped out and mailed out as soon as possible. So I decided to take a break with the challenge and then start creating a new drawing for my Happy Mail. At this point, I really needed a creative break because I had been doing so much client work and thinking about this challenge and all that stuff. So I really wanted to draw foliage and flowers and just a character taking a break, because that's what I really needed. It was just such a busy month, like I've said now 3 times, and the month where I thought was going to be so creative with all the trinkets became not so creative, unfortunately. At this point during the month, I had so many thoughts going through my mind, like, am I ever going to be able to finish this challenge? Am I being too slow? Am I failing it because I'm not producing as much as I want to? On the backhand, I had a lot of client projects that I had just explained, and Not to mention the month was ending and the deadlines were ramping up, and I had a lot of people visiting because we had just recently moved. So it was just a lot to take in, and I had to make a decision whether I wanted to extend this sequence illustration to the next month or be a superhuman and try to finish it in a week's worth of time. After finishing my personal illustration, it was time to head back to the Let's Get Published Together and draw the second page of my sequence. So I wasn't sure what I wanted in terms of second page, whether I wanted it to be a spot illustration or a half page or a full page, but I started sketching nonetheless and tried to figure out what kind of compositions would work with my sequence. Figuring out this next illustration was a little puzzling because I only had one full page to work with, and I still wanted to show a full magical museum, but also what happened next within or after the bottle had been opened. So I had in mind of a dragon coming out, and I wanted my character to be unbalanced onto the dragon, like it came out so fast that she kind of fell on top or something like that. And that's kind of where my thought process was going while sketching these little thumbnails. I ended up choosing to go with the full page illustration as I thought it just looked better in terms of composition with the other page together. And also, I like working on both pages together, or while I can see the other page on the other side, just because I like to match the colors as closely as I can, and also I can just use it as reference for the character when it comes to painting her. So as always, I was chasing time, and I think that happens to a lot of illustrators because things happen, life happens, work happens, and we have sometimes less time to be creative than other months. So even though I had set out to finish this, I didn't think I was going to be done by the end of the month, and at the same time I was realizing that I was building a full page illustration of what was happening with the dragon, but we still didn't really know exactly what the dragon was or if it was really a dragon. And also I wasn't really seeing magical museum in that full page illustration. There was no artifacts, just windows, and so right there, I knew I had to do another month and decided to just take it easy and extend my challenge to the month of August. That way I had more time to complete the other full page illustration. So August rolled around and it was finally time to start and finish my spread illustration that came after my narrative. So I decided to create a composition with a kind of one-point perspective going towards the dragon to lead the viewer's eye and just to create that dynamic that the dragon is the center of attention right now. I made sure that all of the perspective lines went towards the dragon and that most of the events was happening there, which is why I didn't add too many artifacts around the walls because I didn't want to overcomplicate everything else and lose attention on the dragon. So as I was finishing my spread, I finally got the sense of accomplishment that I wanted to, because that meant the end of the chapter 2 of Let's Get Published Together. With that being said, I'm extremely happy that I pushed myself to finish that last piece of illustration because I find that it really complements my sequence. So I finally have 3 new pieces for my portfolio: a sequence that I never had and a narrative or spread illustration that goes right after. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you've had any of these same struggles with art making, please let me know. And if you like my work, and only if you like my work, feel free to subscribe. And thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.